Okay. So we are ready. Hello,
We are
Faith.
ready to go. Hello, Cynthia. Good
I'm
to
so
see
happy
you.
to see you. It's really good. So
You too.
I'm
You too.
I'm in Belgium. It's 4 o'clock, more or less 10 past 4, and you're in the
Okay.
UK.
I'm in the UK and it is 10 past 3 in the UK on a cloudy
Wonderful.
afternoon, but it's not raining. The sun is shining a little bit and it's a little bit warm, so it's good.
So I put a special sun behind me to shine on you. It's Mom's painting, but I thought it so matched who you are, this sunshine of color, and you bring hope and support and laughter to everybody. And so we met a couple of years ago, I think about 4 now.
Yes, we
And
met in 2017 in Japan. That's when we
yes,
first met. Yes, that's
yes.
right.
And I've been your fan ever since because you have this incredible energy and smile about you, that touches people around. And I thought, first of all, would be I thank you so much for accepting this challenge.
Well, thank you for inviting me and thank you for saying such wonderful things about me. But no,
I
no, yeah,
I think they are true, but let's let people judge for
for
themselves.
themselves,
We'll see.
absolutely.
And so the idea is that I started, like 3 weeks ago, this series
Mm.
of conversations with friends from all over the world in the different languages I try to speak.
You
And
speak very good English. Your English is better than mine.
get out of here. But thank you. I'll take the compliments really nice. Um, and it's been because my family in Argentina, family and friends in Argentina, and then my family all over the world.
Mm,
Um, we've all been facing these very challenging times, and I don't think we are all aware that everybody's facing the same challenges, even though maybe we have different more stabilized situations or governments or countries, that it's still quite a challenge, but we still share our humanity.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like realizing that actually we all share the sun, but it
Yeah,
only comes to our part of the world at a certain time of the day, but it's only one sun. It's not
ha,
like five different suns for
that's
five
incredible.
different countries.
Yeah.
It's one sun that just moves around the globe
Yes,
and it comes to your country at that particular time, then it goes to another country. It's not like all different suns. So we've all
yes,
been sharing this same tragedy in a way,
yeah,
this same lockdown, this same pandemic, this same world history all at the same time. No
yes.
one can say they've not experiencing this crisis that's going on, but it's actually how we're dealing with it at this particular time that's important, isn't it? This is
I
how I
think
feel.
so. I think
How
so.
are
And
we dealing with it? Yeah.
I think this has been the motivation to start this series of conversations because, like you were saying, the sun shedding light on different countries and continents at different times, and it's been such a time of revolution, but at the same time, I feel, just one world, just one heart. And
Yeah.
so how we go about it, indeed, what you were saying is what changes. So tell me about how you've experienced all the last 15 months or so.
Last 15 months, well, yeah, so the year started 2020, started in high spirits. I was in high spirits, really determined to have an incredible year. I
Yeah,
just started the year feeling that I really want to end 2020 in a way that I've not, in a totally different way to how I've started it.
wow,
Almost like I want to be at the end of 2020, I want to discover a new part of myself
wow,
that I've not been able to discover before.
right.
And I felt that's how I started the year.
And was
Uh,
it as an entertainer or just as a
well,
human
it was
being?
just as a human being,
All
as a human
right.
being, I wanted to
Yes.
to discover a new me by the end of 2020, and I didn't know what that new me was going to be,
And
how
did
it was
you?
going to be, and I definitely did. Of course, I did. I'm sure most people did as well. But for me, my work, I work in hospitals. I'm a
Yes.
specially trained performer, and I work with sick children in hospitals, and I'm called a giggle doctor. And that means I go around into hospitals seeing sick children, and my purpose is basically to remind them that they're children, remind them that they can still smile, laugh, joke, find a bit of joy in life. So that's my purpose. That's my job. So
Wow.
and I work with a foundation, a charity called Theodora Children's Charity. And when March came and the lockdown happened, we were no longer allowed to go into hospitals because our job,
Right.
even though we create a lot of value and we are really necessary
Sure.
to help the in a way to with the well-being of the child
To
and their
lift
family
spirits.
and to lift their spirits, absolutely. As far as the hospitals are concerned, we were unnecessary workers. We weren't essential
which
workers.
is which
So,
is really a discussion we've been having with my other friends in culture,
oh right, yeah, we were
saying
unessential
what is
workers.
essential anyway, because I think you
Absolutely.
are essential.
I know we felt we were essential, but because of the pandemic and the wanting to
Sure.
keep people safe, that was a priority of keeping people, protecting people. It's like
Sure.
we only want the doctors and the nurses in the hospital and the patients. We don't want anyone else in the hospitals to, so it was difficult. It was difficult. So we all of the giggle doctors were then out of work. We were there, then all unemployed.
And what did you
Basically.
do?
And we're all self-employed. So
Yes.
so we weren't able in the UK, we were all, people that were employed, they were able to get furlough. But us people who are self-employed, we got absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
So either you went and you had to claim benefit from the government,
Yes.
or you just actually had to tap into your own savings,
Yes.
or you went out and you got another job.
Yes. Which is more or
So
less what happened in Belgium as well, mind you,
yeah,
as a
yeah,
self-employed. So I have my own
yeah.
company, it's a language school. And but at one point, after 3 or 4 months,
Mm,
we did get also self-employed. We did get some kind of help. It wasn't
yeah,
enough for most, but it was something.
yeah,
And after that, after 3 months, then you could continue claiming it only and if only you could demonstrate having lost at least 30%, 40% of your turnover.
yeah.
So it became extremely difficult when you had to be closed, and it was a very difficult situation. So what did you do personally?
Well, what I did, well, we had something very similar for people that was self-employed that had
Yes,
actually put in their tax claims. If
yes,
they put in their tax claims and they
they
were
could get.
able to
Yes,
tax record, they could get a small amount of money towards their probably paying enough to pay their
accommodation. Yeah,
accommodation if they
yeah,
were lucky. But
mortgage
anyway,
and
what
all
I
that.
did, yeah, what I did, I really felt in this ice in this period, I just have to find another way to actually um, create some sort of value because I was in the house, not being able to go outside.
Yeah,
I'm very fortunate. I've got my husband in the house with me, and also I've had my Buddhist community, which was fantastic because we were able to meet as
online.
the Buddhist community. We could meet on Zoom, which was absolutely fantastic. So there
Yeah,
was no feeling of isolation at
right.
all. And I started to think about my colleagues who actually are on their own. They don't have like a Buddhist community or any community like such that they could communicate with and connect with every whenever. And I felt the thing that's going to be really difficult for people is isolation. So I decided to start up my own sort of weekly Zoom meeting with my co-workers
Oh, you're
which I
fantastic.
created. So since March of 2020, we've been having a Zoom in every Friday
Wow.
as Giggle Doctors, which I initiated just so that we can get together and just talk, laugh, share what's going on, just so that no one feels isolated.
How fun.
Um, and so it was absolutely fantastic. So we've been doing that every single Friday, and it's been absolutely
Congratulations.
brilliant. And
That's
because of that, also because I wasn't able to work, I decided, okay, what else could I do in my community? And I realized actually what I can do is even though I can't meet people, there's so many people that are shielding, which aren't allowed to go out at all,
yeah.
And I thought what I could do, I could just I could volunteer to be somebody that would phone them up
Wow.
and just have a conversation with them, a conversation of encouragement, just to say, how are you doing? What's up? Have you been watching anything on the telly? Do you like music? Just a conversation, just some dialogue.
Yes.
because some of the people that are, that were shielding, they had no, their
Nobody.
family weren't around. No, they had no one. They had no one. They weren't able to go to their local luncheon club or wherever they normally go. They were at home with no one and nothing apart from the
So
television.
it's a call to say we care about you. It,
Absolutely. So absolutely. So that's what I did. I volunteered to be a call and chat person. So I would be given sent names of people and phone numbers of people that I would call up and I would chat to them. And it
wow.
was absolute strangers. And it's been absolutely fantastic just to call them up and just see how they are, just to talk about their life and what they've been doing in their garden and what they can see outside of their window and that sort of thing. And it was
Wow.
wonderful. I had a lovely chat with a lady, and it was fantastic chat with a lady. And she, we got started talking, and we started talking about music, and and I said to her, and she was like in her 80s, and I said to her, do what sort of music do you like to listen to? And she said, oh, anything, but I don't listen that much anymore to music. I just watch the news on the telly, and I thought, okay. And then I thought, I'm going to get my harmonica down. So I got my harmonica down. I got my harmonica out. I was on the telephone, so I got my harmonica out on the telephone. I said, okay, you don't often listen to music. I said, I want to play something to you, and tell me if you recognize this tune. And I went, by the time I got halfway through, she was singing along on the other end of the
Like
telephone.
me.
It was so good. It
But
was so
but
good.
you are everybody's sunshine, aren't
It
you?
was so good, though. It was just so beautiful to hear her
Yes.
singing at the other end of the phone because she recognized the song and she was
How
singing
fabulous.
along. And she said, oh, yes, I know that song. I said, yes, it's You Are My Sunshine, isn't it? She said, oh, yes, I know that song. And it was just like a brief, like a 15-minute chat we had. But within those 15 minutes, I could really feel that just myself and her connecting for 15 minutes,
But of
I
course.
was able to lift her heart and to remind her how joyful it is to listen to music and have somebody play some music for you.
And this
you
is
know,
how essential culture is actually, and humanity. A little.
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
think because sometimes we think we need, like big means and big gestures, and it's nothing like that. It's just about picking up the phone and letting your friends and family, know that you care about them. And it takes just, a second of your wonderful playing to bring all these memories and to get, all your chemicals in your body going. Yes, adrenaline and joy.
Absolutely. And it was fantastic because I thought, wow, I don't know if I would have done that 2 years ago. But because of this situation and me, when I was talking about to being a different person by the end of the year, wanted to see different parts of myself by the end of 2020.
Wow.
This is
Yes.
one of them. I thought, oh my gosh, just to feel that I just want to give something to somebody who I have no idea who they are. I don't know what they look like. I don't know where they live. I have nothing. All I know is that they want to speak on the end of the phone for a little chat. And for me, all my thing is, okay, how can I lift your spirits in these 15 minutes? And
And
okay, I will play.
what is it that you found about yourself, this new part of you,
Well, I thought the new part of me, yeah, I think the new part of me has really been to actually be my be the true person of who I really am,
Mhm.
and not hide that part of myself, to allow that part of myself to also come out
Yeah.
and shine, and allow that to come out and shine. And even sometimes there's some parts of myself that I've not talked about. um for example, with George Floyd, when
I,
George Floyd
I was
when
thinking
George
about
Floyd,
that. Yes.
yeah, was murdered.
Good.
you
Yes.
know what happened was, I had never talked about racism that I had faced before.
Sure.
because it was just absolutely exhausting to talk about it. You
Because
know,
it was a
we
daily occurrence, was it?
no, it wasn't that it was daily, but because you get so used to it happening that it's not
Yeah.
daily, but you
You
get
don't
used
talk
to it
about
happening
it.
in your life
Yeah.
that you just think, well, okay, so this death. So you don't even talk about it. You just think, okay, this happens, this happens, this happens. You know, so you get used to it happening and you don't talk about it, which is absolutely wrong because
Yeah.
that's not how we should be living as
Sure.
people. And
Sure.
with George Floyd, I thought, actually, why have I just thought about, oh, I'm not even going to talk about it because it's so exhausting. I thought, no, 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 this isn't right. I
You
need to
need to
actually
pick up.
speak about things and just actually say, actually, this does happen. And it has happened to me. And I know I've got beautiful, wonderful, wonderful friends that, you know, really would not have thought that it was happening really. They probably would have felt I'm okay. I don't have any unconscious bias. You know, I don't have any unconscious bias. I'm okay. I'm an okay person, you know, and actually being to be able to talk about it with them, and they realize, actually, no, I've not been as courageous as I could have been, or I've not seen my own unconscious bias, that actually my attitude towards black young men or blah 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 is this like this. And thank
Yes.
you for talking about this, Faith, because it's and that allowing me to examine
Yes.
how I've been living and actually how what I've experienced in my own family when I might go home and spend time with my family members and they will come out with all of this stuff and I will just be quiet around the dinner table and just allow them to talk the way they talk and think that's my family. And actually now, Faith, I feel that I need to say to them, actually, that's not the correct way to
To
be,
express it or to,
you
yeah, or
know,
to think about things. Yes.
to talk about it, because in a way if you don't talk about it you can't do anything. So for me it was like, okay, this is good. If you can talk about it then you can reflect.
And I think George Floyd kind of shook us all up and made dialogue possible all over the world. And
Yeah,
I'll tell you, I've stopped to think about how, how I look at people, how I act, how I speak, because what you're saying. And I think one of the most important things is that, the topic is on the table again worldwide. And
yeah,
we have become aware of what's going on everywhere. And I
yeah,
think that's the first step. And it's so moving because I've been reading and watching a lot um, about this situation in America, but all over the world, because I do have friends all over the world from all colors, sizes, religions, beliefs, and it works because there's dialogue.
yeah,
What you're saying, because we talk about things, and then as a human being, it's your choice whether what you do with that. And I choose to always try to look inside and see,
mm,
double check that
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
living aligned with my values. This is very
yeah,
important. And last week, I was helping one of my students prepare his exams, and then he shared, and so it's really nice that you talk about this, but I was going to bring it up anyway, but it's really nice that it
mm, mm,
came up. And he said, well, so we had a choice for their final in English, I think in this case, that they had together with a friend to make a presentation about a topic of current events, and
mm,
they chose George Floyd. And
mm,
so they described the situation, but then they justified why they had chosen this topic, because
mm,
thanks to what happened, which was a tremendous a tragedy, it was so shocking, and the waves of reactions all over the world made them, aware of the situation they didn't know. And they thought that we should keep on discussing it. And I thought, oh, the youth feeling this. I'm so
yeah,
proud of my student, but also of this generation that's decided this is not just going to lay there. We're going to address this topic. We're going to address it in this case at university, and we're going to explain the why this happened, the how this happened. So they described, they read all this because the trial's ongoing. Well,
mm,
it's finished now, but it was ongoing, and they were explaining everything that happened. And I learned so much about, because the thing we all remembered was, officer, I cannot breathe. But then they explained the whole situation and
Mm.
how that happened, in what the context was, until the ambulance came. And it was, I felt so shaken inside that this cannot continue to happen
Mm.
today. And at
Yeah,
least I'm going to do everything I can not to be part of a society that allows for things like that to happen, racism,
yeah, yeah.
openly or not. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. And you was just saying that because the young people are incredible, and
incredible.
they are sort of ready now to sort of take the step forward
Yes,
to change this. It's incredible. Um, the whole thing with George Floyd. Even I heard a young woman, Japanese mixed race young woman, and she talked about Japanese and English culture background. And she talked about, because of George Floyd, she was able to talk about the racism that she was facing in her university. So George Floyd is enabled. The highlight has been on Black lives,
yes, and they
okay,
matter.
but absolutely, but also it's enabled
Yes,
other people that were facing racist discrimination to
yes,
actually
of
start
course.
speaking
Yes,
out and saying that actually I have, if it wasn't for George Floyd, I wouldn't be able to talk about this thing
yes,
that's been happening at my university, how I've been treated.
yes.
Or and so actually he has enabled so many people to start talking about.
Really, yes,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
incredible.
It's
And
incredible. It's incredible.
In America, there's a movement now from people of Asian descent, and they were explaining exactly what you're saying, that what they've experienced and never talked about, and they
Never
are
talked
second
about
and
it.
third generation, and because of this situation, they are now, taking to the streets and to the media and overtly discussing something that it shouldn't be happening. So yes, it's funny how a situation that was supposed to be absolutely um, critical, like the coronavirus or this horrible,
Mm.
unfair situation of a human being dying under such circumstances, can be stepping stones for change.
Yeah, and I think the young people, I'm really, as a Buddhist, I am really praying that this is a stepping stone for change. And what I can feel, young people feel, they're
Yes,
having so incredible dialogue, young people, that
yes,
they are deciding, no, it's not going to be happening for me. This is, I'm going to change the world. And you have
yes,
incredible young people, even the young person that stood there and videoed,
yes. So
you know,
courageous.
he
Yes,
just
so
courageously
courageous.
stood there and made that video. You have young people who are out there doing stuff for the environment. You think these
Yeah,
young people are really standing up and deciding that I'm going to stand up for the world.
sure. And don't
I'm not
worry
going to be
about the
quiet.
background action in there, because
That's all right. Yeah, I
nice.
know.
Yes, it's nice because the videos are like this, no editing necessary, and it's
You can
about
see
life.
my husband's little legs going in the background.
But this
Look,
is the reality, right? This is the reality of the different lockdowns and the rest. But thanks to him also, we can be chatting now, and he's taking care of other things in the house. So,
absolutely. We changed rooms. I said, I'll go in. First, I went to the bedroom. I said, I'll go in the bedroom now. But he said, oh, no,
wonderful.
no. You go in the living room and I'll stay in the bedroom. So therefore,
Oh,
you can talk freely and
please,
openly, no
please
problem.
thank him from me.
I
And
will. I will. I will. I will. I
wonderful.
will.
And so, do you think these winds of change and this cherishing this new generation, which I know you and I do you think it's time for something new in the world?
Yeah, I really feel that it's time for something new. I really feel that we are, everyone is unconsciously ready for something new. If
Yes,
they're not, they might not know that they're ready for something new, but I feel that their eyes have been opened and their hearts have been opened, and their compassion has been opened to what's going on in the world. and you're realizing if you're suffering in England and people are suffering in India, you
Yes.
can't be happy in England and know that people are unhappy in India. You know, in order for us all to be happy, England and India have to both move forward together. We can't just think, oh, we're great.
Sure.
No problem. You realize how connected you are as people. You know, everyone's
Yeah.
connected and we need each other.
And
We
I
need
think
each other.
this interconnectedness has become so clear to me because we had globalization. It was all about technology, which I appreciate very much because I was fortunate enough to be able to continue teaching online.
Mm,
And but I thought there was something missing in society, the way it was going.
mm,
Something was very wrong. You know, we're destroying the planet. We are so I started a personal movement of change with
mm,
changing the way I eat,
mm.
changing the way I move. But I think this situation with the pandemic has confronted me and has kind of brought me back to what's essential. And so,
Yeah.
do you think this is what's happening with the world? Is this how you have experienced this?
This is how, yeah, I have. I think it's what's the most important. What is my priority actually?
Yes.
Is my priority really getting to know my neighbor and becoming a great person, you know, neighbor, and
Yeah.
really getting to know them as people, or is my priority to go out and buy myself a nice pair of shoes?
Sure.
Of course,
Sure.
that's nice too, but you know, it's like thinking, actually,
Yeah.
what's important? Let's sit down and have a little chat with your neighbor.
Yes.
In the end, that's what's important, isn't it? Um,
Yes.
making those relationships, those
Yeah.
friendships.
It's so important, and I think I'm greatly inspired by what you said. That what can I do? How can I create value? And it starts from there. I was talking to another friend saying, at the beginning, the first lockdown in Belgium, yes, so
Mm,
March through to June, let's say 2020. Everybody was calling my mom, saying this, saying that, supporting her and checking on her. But now nobody calls. And then, so we were talking, and I say, but does she call her friends? So we don't have this, awareness that we can call others, and a phone call just changes everything, or a message. I've been very aware of that and trying very hard to stay, connected to my friends everywhere, to my family here, and
mm, mm,
and also this is why this series of conversations started, just to say, okay, there's another way of looking at things,
mm.
and there's another input other than the media. It becomes really bothersome, I'll say, all this
Yeah.
fear and aggression, and also not no real dialogue. So I wanted to start
Mm.
something like, it's exactly what you've done with your life, which is really impressive, Faith. And how do you
Yeah.
see the months to come? How do you see the future now? And as
Well,
an
I'm going
entertainer, what would you like
as an
to say?
entertainer. Well, what we've actually finally we've started last week. We started going back into hospitals. Was from last week we started. I did the first visit into a hospital last week.
Wow, how
It
did it
was
feel?
great, fantastic. It was fantastic. I had to wear a mask, but
Yeah,
that didn't stop me, and that doesn't didn't stop us. You know, it's just you have to find a new sort of creative way to bring out your creativity. You
yeah,
know, you have to find another way, and I was able to find another way, so it was absolutely great. Um, and So we will start going back into hospitals, but we've also been doing online virtual visits. In
wow,
this period of time, we discovered that we could visit children virtually, so we've been visiting them via WhatsApp.
wow.
WhatsApp visits. They've been booking a visit and we visited them. So we've still been able to, keep connections with children, but now we're able to go back into the hospital. That's even better, gradually. But I think for us, the charity that I work for, we will now have, before we only had one string to our bow, which was to go into the hospital person to person. Now we have another string to our bow. We can also go in a hospital to the hospital, but we can also do a virtual visit.
And do you think it's
So that's
different?
great.
Can you, because
Yes, it is
for me,
different.
when I compare lessons, on site and online, Does it feel different for you, or is it exactly the same?
No, no, it is different. It's different because you're not there. You can't feel the energy of the person's in the same space with you,
Uh-huh.
and you can't move, you can't bounce off the things that they've got in their space, which you normally can in the hospital. You can
Uh-huh.
bounce off everything that's in their space. You can build on, your shoes, your blah blah blah. The conversation, the fun can build on everything in their space. Whereas on virtually, you can only see the screen and see their faces, but you can still build something. We can still, you can still have a really lovely time with the children. So that's something, that's a way forward with us. And with me, it's just I'm really I've also started in the lockdown. I became a mentor to a young lady,
Wow.
um, uh, because I just really felt, I really felt if I'm going to be locked in my house for however long it's going to be, I can still do so. I've got to reach out.
Yes.
I've got to do something, because if I'm just here watching the television,
Yes.
it's nothing.
It's
I
a bit
just feel
boring,
empty.
isn't it?
Absolutely. But if I know that I'm able to reach out and encourage somebody,
Yeah.
because every time you try and encourage and lift somebody, you feel the same. You feel
Sure.
encouraged and you feel lifted.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought. So therefore, I just thought I'm going to see if I can become a mentor for a young lady. I saw something online, and I applied, and they said yes. I became a mentor for a beautiful young
Congratulations.
lady. So therefore, I'm going to continue doing that. And I've made new friends with my neighbours, which is great. I'm making new friends with my neighbours, and it's just I am continuing to grow.
Fantastic.
I'm practicing my harmonica more. I'm going to learn to do some body percussion. It's always opportunities. I've started to read more. I just thought it's opportunity to do something. And for me, when you reach out, it's like you're reaching out, but then it's like something's coming back towards you, because you're allowing the space for something come back in towards your life, but you're not really thinking about it in those terms.
Yes, absolutely.
You're just
So you're
thinking, I
doing
want to.
the percussion, and I have a song we sang together in Japan coming back to me saying,
What are they?
"Don't you worry
Wait,
about it,
about a thing,
because every little
little
thing
thing,
gonna
gonna
be
be all right.
alright."
Singing
Don't
that.
you
That's what we
worry.
sung. Yeah, absolutely. I even learned to play that on the harmonica so I could play it.
Yes, I thought
Uh,
that was coming, but maybe for our next chat.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But no, it's
Lovely.
I feel that the next 10 years
Are crucial.
are crucial. The next 10 years
Agreed.
between now and 2030, as we come out of this, as a world comes out, emerges from this sort of
Yes.
lockdown,
And
this.
so I think the shared message we can send to all our friends who will hopefully watch the video is to say, how do you think you can create value? How do you think you can be part of this emerging society,
Yeah,
which we are fortunate enough to be able to build?
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah. And you can be.
yes,
It's the thing is that you can contribute to something to it,
sure.
not to think you can't.
You don't need to become somebody else.
No, you can, in your own special, unique way,
Right.
create something and contribute to it. You're not powerless. You
I
are
love that
powerful,
message, and
isn't it?
we 100% agree.
Yeah.
So this is what we're leaving everybody with, and I'll leave them also with your Instagram ID for the curious.
Oh, right. Yes, yes. Okay. Yes, you can. Yes, that's
So
lovely.
it's silly with one L underscore Millie underscore clown,
Wonderful.
and people who want to follow you can find you there, right?
Wonderful. They can find me there.
And do some music with you. It's been an
I,
absolute
I,
pleasure,
I'll get
Faith.
the harmonica out.
Okay,
It's
let's do
okay.
that.
Okay. Cynthia. Okay. This is a wrong. Let me get another harp. Oh,
Okay.
this one.
Yes, we have time.
I'm improvising.
I like that. Joy to the world, is it not? Yes. So a time for music, a time for youth, a time for hope,
Absolutely.
and a time to be part of building this new world.
A new future. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Young people are crucial.
a time for friendship based on common goals,
Yes.
a time for no more racism in this world.
Yeah. No more prejudice, no more sexism, no more racism, no more homophobia. Everyone is equal. To see everyone's beauty, and everyone has beauty, no matter who they are, where they come from, what their race is, gender, sexuality, class. Everyone has incredible value to give, and everyone is a diamond.
Just as they are. They don't need to become
Absolutely.
anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been lovely chatting to you, Faith. Hopefully, we'll
Oh,
do a second one in the
we'll
future.
do another one in the future, Cynthia. I look
Yes.
forward to seeing it.
Thank you so
Take
very much.
care.
Talk to you
Bye.
soon. Bye.